What's up, everybody? We're here. We're back for another episode of the Red Glare podcast. And this is special because it's playoff time, man. It's NBA playoffs time. A great time for basketball fans. You already know in our households, probably basketball is going to be on every night. Try to catch every single series as we can. But I am your host, Alec Miller. You can find me on Twitter at AlecMiller0423. It's right here on the screen. And I'm joined as always with my man Paul PL Trinidad. What's up, man?
Hey, what's happening, everybody? Man, it's the best time of the year. Rockets are in a good place. Not the place we expected, but still in a favorable position. And now the playoffs are starting. I can't wait. This is an exciting time. Someone's going to be a champion, man, and we just got to figure out who. Looks like it might be a new person this year, so I'm excited for that.
And actually, that's where I kind of want to start, man. So,
okay,
the NBA playoffs were always for years on end. It's always LeBron and Curry, LeBron and whoever. It's always the same people over and over again. My biggest thing that I would always ask is, when are we going to get the new batch of talent? When are the new stars going to start, making names for themselves and really start to make themselves household names? And I feel like we got that this year with Devin Booker, even though he's been around for a while, but he's starting to get some notoriety. We got that with Embiid, and we have that with Donovan Mitchell. So my question is, why does the national media still cling on to Durant, LeBron, and basically everything I've seen is Suns and Jazz are done first round. Like, everyone's like, Jazz and Sun are done first round. It's like they always complain that no one ever steps up, no one ever makes that leap. And then when someone like the Jazz do, and trust me, I hate talking about the Jazz just as the next person, because we're Rockets fans.
Yeah,
it's ingrained in us to hate the Jazz. But I mean, we finally have somebody stepping up, like a Donovan Mitchell, like a Nikola Jokic. I can't even tell you how many times today alone I heard Jokic is going to win the MVP, but he shouldn't. It's the worst. It'll be the worst thing for the MVP. I'm like, are you freaking serious? Like, this guy does what he does when his second guy goes down, still keeps his team relevant, and we still can't give the man props. It's like, and they're still trying to give it to Curry. They're still trying to give it to Chris Paul, which Chris Paul I get more than Curry, but like, come on, man. I just don't understand the national media and the narratives that these guys, that these, not just men, the men and women in the national media just can't help but keep these people in the limelight as long as they can, and completely disregard what the new stars are doing, what Luka is doing, because we got to bring up that chart you sent me earlier, and like, that's a very interesting chart that was sent. Of like the teams that flourished after the All-Star.
After the All-Star,
at the very bottom is us, the Rockets, and right next to them is the Lakers. And then you have way at the top of doing the best, the Mavs. But still, people disrespect, and they want to keep saying Lakers, Nets in the finals, and just like, come on, man. Like, have a little bit more of a analytical look at it instead of just going based off of, I like this guy and I like this guy.
Yeah, man. It definitely gets tiring. Sometimes I like to imagine like ESPN just has these meetings where some executive is like, all right, we're going to talk more LeBron, Jordan, more Curry. And that's the priority this month. Just talk about LeBron as much as possible. I don't know, man. It gets outrageous. I even read an article about, it was recapping the Basketball Hall of Fame, which if some of you guys saw it, the Hall of Fame inductees, most notably were Kevin Garnett, Tim Duncan, and Kobe Bryant. And also a shout out to Rudy Tomjanovich, because he's a former Rockets coach who made it in. And that was well overdue. But, back to what you were talking about, I was reading the follow-up article on ESPN about Vanessa Bryant's speech. And, a couple paragraphs into this, they bring up LeBron, dude. They bring up like a quote LeBron said about, and I feel like so many of those articles on ESPN is like what LeBron said, what LeBron thinks. this, that, and the other. Just any way they can, trying to force in LeBron. And sometimes, it's like, man, dude, like let Kobe have his spotlight, man. Let Garnett and Duncan, these guys were boys. Like, we don't need LeBron's opinion on these guys. It's just not relevant all the time, Like, I want to hear what Tim Duncan thinks about Kobe more than I do LeBron. I mean, that's just the truth. So, yeah, man, I totally get where you're coming from. I really hope it's the changing of the guard. To be honest, man, like there's been a couple years where I thought James Harden, I've told you this, like I thought James Harden was going to kind of be that bridge because, James Harden had the skill set, man. He had all the tools in the bag, one of the best shooters. And I really thought him and Curry were going to kind of be that bridge away from LeBron. Of course, Harden never made that leap. Curry got kind of banged up with some injuries and, maybe lost a year or two with a title chance. But nonetheless, here we are. And LeBron's getting up in age. And like you said, we got young people coming up. And yeah, just what we talked about last week on the show really got me thinking about the Suns. And when I was thinking of my conference finals last week, I think I told you, like, man, I don't know if I'm that happy with this. So I think we're gonna get into it today, but I'm gonna show the Suns some respect, just to let you guys know what's coming.
Yeah, and then like with the Clippers, I mean, we saw kind of things that worried me is it does kind of seem like they were running from the Lakers. Like, okay, we're gonna lose certain games so that we can play against the Mavs in the first round instead of possibly playing the Lakers in the first round. So it's like there is something there. Obviously, now they're not going to play. Now I think with them being the 4 seed, they're not going to have to go through LA unless they meet in the conference finals,
right?
Which
is unlikely.
Yeah, and everyone wanted Lakers Clippers last year in the conference finals, and they ended up losing to the Nuggets, which is and they can't run to the Nuggets either because they'll take the winner of the Utah and the 8th seed game series, which is going to be either the Warriors, the Lakers, the Spurs, or the Grizzlies, and we'll see, man. But yeah, I don't know how I feel about it, man. It's really weird.
On the subject of the Clippers, like I heard a podcast. It was Bomani Jones and someone else, I can't remember, but they were talking about the Clippers in the bubble, giving some like behind the scenes. And basically like they were saying they honestly got the impression the Clippers didn't want to play in the bubble. Like, and you heard those reports about like, I think it was the Lakers and Clippers, like during the George Floyd. Was it the George Floyd one?
Yeah. It was.
Was that what was going on? It was the one in Milwaukee.
No, it wasn't George Floyd. It was the one who he's the one that actually called the police. I can't remember his name. He didn't die, but he was shot in front of his kids in the car, if I'm not mistaken. Because that happened right before the playoff series between the Bucks, the Bucks and whoever they played first.
Exactly.
That was gonna be the opener, and then they ended up
There's like all those rumors.
Yeah.
All the rumors that the league might shut down, like players didn't want to play.
Yeah.
And I guess during the midst of all that, the Clippers literally decided that they didn't want to be there anymore. They didn't have it in them. And that's kind of what they were talking about on that podcast is like last year, the Clippers literally didn't want to be there. So it kind of showed, because the Clippers got eliminated. And they were the laughing stock and honestly probably well deserved, but yeah, like I still have question marks about them because, look, I'm not going to doubt Kawhi. Kawhi's, I mean, that title with the Raptors, like that was unbelievable, and he pulled it off. So I'm still not going to doubt Kawhi, but I still doubt kind of like the culture they have there. I feel like they have all the talent to be a title contender, but I don't know if mentally they're as a team, if they have that cohesion to pull it off, like when they do weird things, like this is the first year I see Kawhi kind of like yelling at teammates and, just like showing pissed off faces. And I'm not used to that, man. And like, also we don't really know how great of a coach Ty Lue is, like a lot of people gave LeBron credit for that title run. And Yeah, man. A couple weeks back, I thought the Clippers were looking strong, and now I'm having doubts about them. But I mean that's what happens in the season as things change. So we'll see where they fall today.
Yeah, and I think if Doc Rivers couldn't change the culture over there and the with the
Good point.
Clippers, I'm pretty sure Ty Lue's not going to be the guy to change the culture. But if your coach can't change the culture, you kind of want to lean on your players to be able to change the culture. I'm going to say James Harden changed the culture here in Houston because we were kind of a middling team, always mediocre. We get James Harden, and James Harden had first he had Kevin McHale, and then he had D'Antoni, and I think it was the combination of D'Antoni and James Harden. But I would say probably James Harden is the one that pushed the culture more than anybody. Same thing with what's his name with Daryl Morey. Daryl Morey also changed the culture.
Yeah, Daryl Morey,
right. He was a guy who apparently he's the guy that did everything he could to he made moves, risky moves, not afraid to take chances in order to get us to where we were. Obviously not anymore, but that'll all change when we get the number 1 pick. When we get because we still got
yeah, exactly, and that's a good point. Like compared to the Clippers, is like when because it's kind of similar. I mean, if you think about it, let's put Kawhi and Harden as the same. And then you had Doc Rivers and you had Mike D'Antoni, you had Jerry West and Daryl Morey, and then Leslie Alexander and Steve Ballmer on the Clippers. Like all those guys were kind of similar in the way like they all wanted to win, So when you look at the Clippers roster, it's kind of like, is the question mark on the roster itself? Like they have a lot of players that kind of have like a bully mentality. Like, are there too many? You know what I mean? Like, awesome. Maybe, like, and we saw that, they got rid of Harold, but like, we kind of saw that in the playoffs last year, like when they're like trying to punk Luka and stuff. And like, Luka wasn't having that, like Luka stood up, and it just kind of showed like, once you're in the playoffs, bro, like all that like intimidation stuff. Yeah. It gets you through the regular season, but in the playoffs, like it's really about scheme and like execution. Emotion too, but not always. Like that's not going to win you the championship alone. So yeah, man, we'll see what happens to the Clippers this year. If personally, like I think if they can't win it, then maybe they need to put some other pieces around Kawhi. I mean, you got to keep Kawhi. I mean, Paul George is a nice to have, but if you could get something better for Paul George, I mean, I would do it.
I mean, and we'll get to that when we get there. Let's go ahead and start. But before we do, just a heads up, because we are a Houston kind of based thing. We want to kind of center around Houston sports. Astros are doing really good. I actually want to look up the standings. The bats are starting to come alive. They're starting to heat up a little more, and it's nice to see, because it was, for a while, man, it was starting to get a little worried that our bats weren't coming alive as much as I want them to be. Because I mean, we're known as being a pretty entertaining team. At least in the years past, we obviously, the cheating scandal is probably the reason why people will say, but even last year, we still did really well, and the bats were alive and well last year. So at the moment, we are in the AL West. We are behind the A's, but we are playing the A's this upcoming series. So that will probably change, but we are 24-17. I wish I can get for the whole
and we just got the sweep of the Rangers, which was nice. Always nice.
Yes, that's always great. I love getting a sweep on the Rangers. Always makes things a little better. All right, go by league. So in the American League, we are 4th. So we would be a wild card team, but obviously it's a very long season. But we're looking really good. Chicago White Sox are first in the ALE in the American League. Right behind them, the Oakland A's and the Boston Red Sox. And then you have us, the Blue Jays, which for those who don't know, if you're not paying attention to the Blue Jays, pay attention to the Blue Jays. The Blue Jays are a very young and entertaining team. If you're ever sitting at home and want to watch some baseball and there's a Toronto Blue Jays game on, check it out, because they have a lot of great young players, including including Lourdes Gurriel. They have Cavan Biggio, which is Craig Biggio's son. They have Bo Bichette, who's a very young up and comer shortstop, and George Springer, and Vlad Guerrero Jr.
Yeah, Vlad Guerrero Jr. Yeah, man.
So
That's crazy to
check
think
them.
about all those juniors on there.
Yeah, they got
or brothers or siblings,
It's a legacy. It's a legacy team because my brother told me that Bo Bichette's dad used to be in the MLB too. So it's kind of like the all legacy team.
That's cool, man.
Good to see the Astros doing well. Again, 24-17, nice little record.
I want to shout out to your boy Jesus because I saw him like this tweet for the Corpus Christi Hooks.
Mm-hmm.
Pedro Leon, who's basically an Astros prospect. I think he's the number 2 ranked prospect for the Astros. Man, if you guys haven't seen, this guy hit this 420-foot homer. Man, I'm gonna retweet it on my Twitter right now at Black McLaren. Man, dude, if we got bats like this coming up, I feel great about our future. That's all I gotta say. This guy ripped this shit out the park.
I gotta check that out. I don't think I've seen it, so I definitely gotta check that out. Also, in the world of Houston, the lightweight championship was decided. The vacant championship. So the UFC does have a lightweight champion in Charles Oliveira, by way of second round knockout on Michael Chandler. It was an exciting night all around. If you haven't, check it out. It was the second UFC event with fans, packed house, 17,000 strong here at the Toyota Center. So good to see. Like we said, it's so good to see these fans back in the stands. It just makes things even better. Obviously, the CDC came out and said if you're completely vaccinated, you don't really need to use a mask indoors or outdoors. Obviously, places are still. I believe companies they can still do it to their discretion.
Yeah, it's an option.
Yeah, it's up to them. But like I know, at least at my job, they're telling us, if you're fully vaccinated, you don't have to wear a mask in the office no more or in the shop anymore. So
yeah,
that's pretty sweet to see all the fans, man. It's starting to go back to normal. Can't wait to see these NFL games next year. This upcoming year to see, because that'll be probably the test. Like once we see football fans in packed stadiums, that's when it'll be like okay, we're back to normal. Also, Minute Maid went to 100% capacity as well. Starting
there. Okay, cool. Yeah, I mean, dude, yeah, so many good points on that. Like, hey, if your local businesses still want you to wear masks, be respectful, guys. We're almost past it. But on the topic of fans, like, I haven't heard anything from the NBA for the playoffs, but I was kind of hoping they would push that capacity a little bit more. It would be kind of good to see some, because I was thinking like Clippers versus Mavs, and I'm like, man, how do Mavs get that advantage? And I'm like, dude, imagine if they could have all those fans in Dallas.
Mm-hmm.
Dallas could, but it might be almost unfair.
It probably would be unfair because especially for the LA teams, because LA is like the most, or California is like the most locked down state. They're still like super behind on everybody. So yeah, it would probably be really unfair.
Yeah. But yeah, man, I can't wait. That's dude. Speaking of UFC, I mean, usually my approach to UFC is, I try and keep up with the finishes the next day and stuff. But in general, I was gonna say there was a lot of finishes that card compared to decision matches, right?
Yes, absolutely, and that's been kind of the thing, kind of the norm that's been happening with crowds now is because
that's what I was going to ask you.
The last one too. There were a lot of finishes, even if it wasn't a finishes, they were exciting fights because I just think they got that extra burst of energy from the crowd. So also Dana White mentioned that he upped the performance bonuses from 50,000 to 75,000. So that was a little extra incentive because Tony Ferguson decided to kind of goad Dana White into it. He was like, Dana, what do you think about giving us a little extra 25,000, huh? And Dana just kind of like laughed it off, like, shut up. Like, why are you talking? And then like Friday night, they announced that they were going to up it to 75,000, which was pretty cool. I mean, Tony Ferguson didn't get it because he lost, but yeah.
Yeah, man. Dana's embracing that villain role a little bit from what I've seen.
If you want to see mine and Jesus's thoughts on how horribly paid UFC fighters and MMA fighters are paid, just check us out every week on the ANS podcast because we bring it up once a week. just to let people know, just because UFC fighters are UFC fighters doesn't mean they're paid like the way they should be. They should be getting paid $30 million a fight if they're fighting somebody like a champion. Like John Jones is asking for $30 million to fight Francis Ngannou. And I remember someone asked me, that's crazy. Don't you think? Like, no, I would ask for $30 million to fight Francis Ngannou too. Have you seen him? He's a monster. Like, yes, I need to be covered.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Dana's a villain. He does great, but every time he does, he's a one step forward, two steps back kind of guy. So
Gotcha.
You know, as long as don't go singing the praises of Dana. He's a great guy, but I mean, he's done great things for the sport, but he's not a great guy.
I can't say anything bad about Dana because I've actually won tickets into 2 fights from him or his street crew, I guess. So, one time he tweeted, we were already going to a fight, actually, me and my family in Dallas, but he tweeted he was going to be at this mall, and we actually met Dana, and he upgraded. Well, he didn't know he upgraded, but he gave us free tickets that were better than our nosebleeds.
Yeah.
So we sold our nosebleeds, and then another time in Houston, they were having that like fight festival in George R. Brown type of thing. Okay. And I was with one of my friends, my homie Edgar, shout out. And we were following Dana on Twitter, and Edgar, and he Dana was just giving out tickets. So like we followed all his locations and shit, and there was this random guy giving out tickets. So Dana, if you're watching this, hook us up.
Please, man. I'm not gonna say I'll take everything back, but I'll hold back a little more. If you give me some free tickets, that'd be nice. But
I don't think he would like us if we held back completely. Like he probably appreciates some of the honesty.
So I have this but I watched First Take one time, and they had Dana White on, and it was right before the first Fight Island, which was Usman versus Masvidal, the first one. And Dominic Foxworth was on there. So if those who don't know, Dominic Foxworth played in the NFL. Gosh. And he's a very big advocate for like players' rights, and he was. I think at one point he was the NFLPA president, I think, and he asked him about pay. He asked him about like why are some fighters paid this much, and so and so, and he tells him like well, there's a lot that goes into it, and he's like, oh, I know, like I understand that, but like. Compared to the money that the UFC makes, he's like the fighters don't make very much. And one of the things I always bring up is why are there fighters in the UFC they're in the UFC, they made it. Why are they still having to work regular jobs? Why do they still have to have part-time jobs in order to support their career? So he mentioned that and was like, and he also mentioned the attempted union that some fighters tried to put together and that Dana completely got rid of. And you can tell Dana was like getting upset, and then they come back from break, and then Dominic Foxworth is apologizing to Dana. I'm just like, man, come on, Dominic. Yeah, and all I thought was the ESP, the guys up top got on him.
Yeah, they told him, hey man, Disney owns all of us.
Yeah, like you gotta back off. So it sucked, but I always, for that, I have like respect for Dominic Foxworth because he's the only guy that I've seen talk about it.
I'll never forget that it was one of those first guys who beat Brock Lesnar. I can't remember his name, but I remember like watching that way back when I was young, and this guy said that he was like a firefighter as well as this UFC fighter, and I'm like,
Stipe. Was it Stipe Miocic? Because Stipe is a firefighter as well.
No, it was
somebody else.
Yeah, it was somebody else. I can't remember off the top of my head. I'll get back to you. But yeah, man, like it just struck a chord with me. I was like, what? Like this guy's not making enough money. He's fighting Brock at the time. Brock Lesnar was unbeatable back then. Mm-hmm. Like and this guy's fighting Brock Lesnar, and he still has a day job. I mean, that was just bizarre to me, man.
I'm gonna send you Brandon Royval's interview after he beat Tim Elliott. He choked out Tim Elliott, and he was sobbing because he was basically saying like I have to go to work tomorrow. Like I
Oh
have to work
hell
I
no,
have to go to
bro.
my full-time job. He got the performance bonus, so he got the $50,000 and he quit his job. He quit his job, said that he was committing completely to the UFC now, and it's just like it just sucks that it took him having to win a performance bonus in order to do that. And now, I mean, he's killing it. Like
Yeah.
he had two really good fights. He lost one because his shoulder separated, his shoulder dislocated in the middle of the fight, and so the other guy jumped on him and was like, pounding away on him, and it was just like, and dude, and it sucked because he was. So you can see where he dislocated his shoulder during a takedown. It's dislocated, and he was in like legit pain. There was like 2 seconds left, and he had to tap. Or no, sorry, the ref called it because he couldn't protect himself because he couldn't move his arm. And I remember Joe Rogan saying he could have fought all the because like at the end of the round, he's like, if the ref would have just waited 2 more seconds, and it's not the referee's responsibility to wait 2 more seconds. It's
Right.
he has to do what he has to do. So it's a completely understandable finish. It was a completely understandable end of the fight. But if he would have just held off for 2 more seconds, Joe Rogan said that all they do is they just pop that shoulder back into place, and he would have been good to go in the next round.
Damn.
So he ended up losing that fight, and I was like, damn. And the winner of that fight got the championship fight against Figueiredo. So it was like, man, if things would have just went differently, if he would have held off, but damn, that's just the way the fight game goes sometimes.
I mean, also, dude, like a 50K bonus, like that's not much, bro. Like, I mean that would support the average person like for a year, like no work for a year, maybe like that, and that's not a lot, dude. For those guys, like, I mean, to leave a career where you probably like, after a couple years you would make triple that. I mean, dude, it's tough, bro.
That's like a nurse's entry salary.
Like
$50,000. Like that's not much, but
a nurse could take a year off, but she has to go back to work after that. Like 50 grand is gone. I mean, 50 grand don't even cover most people's expenses. Like,
no, it's just it's enough for him to pay. Like I think he was able to pay for like a fight camp, and then he got to his next fight and stuff like that. It's messed up, man. I think the fact that you're not giving out at least $1 million for a performance bonus.
Like, I was gonna say that. I didn't know if it was too much, but why not put like $1 million up there? I guarantee.
Cares? Like, come on.
Yeah, at least. Anyways,
and
I digress.
And we'll go ahead and we'll get out of the fight game.
I'll have to join the arm bars and suplexes podcast.
Hell yeah, you're always welcome. Arm bars and suplexes, guys. Wednesday night we'll be talking about that and so much more. But let's go ahead and get into this NBA playoffs, my man. And we're starting. So let's start by the way that the games are scheduled. So the first game we're gonna have is the Indiana Pacers taking on the Charlotte Hornets. Well, I'm trying to think of. I can't even so you have Sabonis. Sabonis. You have I can't even name anybody else. Who's that guy?
They got Brogdon on Indiana. Brogdon. TJ McConnell.
There you go. That's what I was looking for.
Doug McDermott. I mean, kind of reaching.
Yeah, they're kind of a team that you're not really expecting to be there. I'm actually surprised that they got there, but they did. Karis LeVert, Malcolm Brogdon, Miles Turner was the guy I was trying to think of.
Miles Turner. I should have said that. UT alum.
So you got this team. This plucky team taking on the Charlotte Hornets, MJ's Charlotte Hornets, which I got to see when's the last time they even made it to a playoffs. Charlotte Hornets.
Yeah. I mean, dude. Like, I think this whole time I was kind of anticipating it would be Indiana and Washington. So shout out to the Wizards for whipping up all those wins at the end.
Mm-hmm. So let's see. So in the past 2 seasons, they've only made 2011 to 2020, they've only made the playoffs twice.
Damn.
So the last time they were in the playoffs
with Kemba.
Yes, the last time they were in the playoffs was 2016. They lost in the first round
to the Cavs.
Mm-hmm. And the last time they won a playoff series was in 2002. They beat the Orlando Magic in the first round. So
wow, man.
Yeah, they lost to the Heat in that and the last time they're in the playoffs against the Heat.
Okay.
So, new territory for all these guys. I think the oldest guy on the team is Cody Zeller. Because I think Zeller is still on the team. So it's crazy to see this team here, but I'm gonna put it all on LaMelo Ball, man. I think LaMelo Ball brought something to this team that this team hasn't had in a long time.
Yeah.
Even before, I think he's even, in my opinion, probably means more to this team than Kimba meant. Because, at this point,
yeah,
when he finally got into the playoffs, I think Kimba had already been in the league for a few years, or at least a year or two. So this is LaMelo Ball's first year, and he's already got this team to the NBA playoffs. MJ is looking really good as an owner right now, able to take his team to the playoffs, to the play-in, but which will bring me to my my prediction. I'm going Charlotte in this one, man. I think Charlotte would be a lot higher seed if LaMelo didn't go down and didn't break his wrist. I think this team is a lot better than their record says. And it's crazy what one player can do to a culture and to a team when you have a player like LaMelo Ball.
Yeah, I'm still leaning Charlotte too. Like I think they are better than their record. Also Gordon Hayward went down last month, but he still played like I think 45 games or so. So that was pretty impressive coming off an injury. And I know he's not playing in this game. Like maybe if they advance in the playoffs, he'll rejoin them. But yeah, man. It looks like we got a comment. Bruce Boyd too.
Yep.
Bruce Boyd Deuce says Charlotte gonna surprise some people. Melo gonna put some respect on his name. I hope so, man. Right. Yeah, we're fans of Melo on this show, and I think he could get a win, man. Like I don't think they're ready to win a playoff series, at least against one of the top 3 teams in the East. But dude, I mean, dude, Melo and Miles Bridges, the way they're creating those highlight plays, and Miles is throwing down them dunks. I mean, not to mention Terry Rozier, like he still has a nice shot, man. He still can create his own space and get a shot up. So, I mean, Indiana, all they really got is defense on that squad, So, I'm gonna go ahead and take Charlotte on that one.
Yeah, Charlotte too. It's funny because LaMelo was one of those players, kind of similar to how I felt about Justin Herbert. So Justin Herbert was coming into the NFL last year. I didn't like him. I thought he was gonna be a bust, and he won me over with his play. And that's kind of what Melo did. I wasn't interested in LaMelo Ball at all. But he won me over with his play. The kid goes out there and he competes. He plays hard and he puts on a hell of a show for people. So, and I think that's the best thing you can do is turn a hater like me, and completely turn me around based off of just your play. So, congrats to Melo.
Yeah.
I hope to see them have some success here.
Yeah, man. No, you're right on that. Like, he just has fun out there, man. Like, you could tell just some of his passes and the no looks. Like, I mean, it looks like stuff you'd be with your friends just playing at a playground, just, trying for the hell of it. And he's pulling it off in the NBA. Like, I think he has to keep that going forward. Like, that's what gives him his competitive edge. Like, his creativeness on the court and like playmaking. And dude, maybe even Lonzo, not to go too far on tangent, but maybe even Lonzo has some of that, but he just doesn't have the confidence yet, or it's still hidden, So I hope to see both of them grow at this point. Because I wasn't a huge fan either, but it's like after some point, it's like, why root against them? Like, they're trying their best, so got to root for them.
Absolutely. All right, we'll go ahead and get into. So that means Charlotte would move into the next game. And then we have Boston, the 7th seed Boston Celtics taking on the Washington Wizards. This was a change up because Washington was at the 10th seed at the moment, or at the time last week, and was in that early playing game, whereas Charlotte was in the game against Boston. So Boston and Washington, and I'm gonna tell you, I'm not a big believer in this Boston team. I think I'm gonna go Washington, man. I think Russ and Bradley Beal somehow put it together, and they because the thing about the play-ins, man, it's one game. All you gotta do is go out there and you gotta win one game, and you're in the playoffs. So or at least in this game, the 7th, 8th seed. You just got to win one game and you're in. So I think I'm gonna go Washington in this game, in this series, and it sets up a very interesting matchup because you get Russ versus Durant in the first round. Who doesn't want to see
bro.
that, man?
That's all you had to tell me to push me over. That's all you had to tell me.
Who doesn't want to see that, man? So I'm going Washington. Bradley Beal, he just lost that the scoring title just by like what I got to see how much, but obviously Curry got it, but he was competing, man, every like week in and week out with Curry. So
I think they were like 4/10 of a point difference going into the last game, so it was super tight, man. Yeah, I know Bradley Beal's like a bit banged up. Well, he was for that game. I don't know how quickly he's going to recover. But, I mean, for me, I have to like Washington, bro. Like, they've continued to climb the ladder. I mean, I got respect for like Jason Tatum, but, also like we talked about earlier, like I think Jaylen Brown is done for the season too. So I just don't see them making a long run. I mean, their record is 500. Like every time I see somebody's record at 500, I always think of that year with Dwight and Harden. Like after we went to the conference championship, then we had like a year of dysfunction after that. Like that was one of the hardest years to watch. And it's like you're just winning a game, then you're losing. You're winning, you're losing. But I digress on Boston. Like the reason I'm picking Washington is purely because of momentum. Like I think Russ really wants it more than any player on the court. As far as Boston and Washington. So, and Hachimura is playing good ball, bro. Like he knows how to play with Russ. I'll give him that. Like Russ dishes plenty of assists to that guy. So, I'm rolling Washington too, man. And the fact you just said Brooklyn, oh, bro, that's all I want. I want that now, man.
So, Bradley Beal was 0.7, like 0.7 of a point away from tying, because Curry was at 32 points even, and Bradley Beal was at 31.3.
Bro, so I know we're going to get into it, but I think Curry got 49 on the last game against the Grizzlies. We got to talk about that some more, but we'll get there.
Yeah, we'll get there. I have a little interesting stat when we get there. So, all right, let's go ahead and get to the Western side. First game that we would have is Memphis versus San Antonio, 9 versus 10. And I'm gonna keep my my point that I had last year, my stance that I had last week. I love Ja. Ja is one of my favorite players in the NBA right now. I'm gonna roll with him in this first game against the Spurs. Even though it's Pop, I know it's Pop, but just this roster is just not good enough to me. What is it? What's the kid's name? Is it not Murray? Levante? I can't remember. Or DeJounte.
DeJounte Murray.
Sorry,
yeah.
He just can't seem to stay healthy all the time. Obviously the DeMar DeRozan thing is not working out as everyone thought it was going to work. So I'm gonna go Grizzlies on this based solely off of Ja. I think Ja puts the team on his back, wins one game, and gets to the second playing game.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think this game means a lot more to Memphis than San Antonio. Not to mention, like, and this is kind of like an argument right now with the playing games is if you're above a team by so many games, they did this in the bubble. Then, like, say if you're 5 games above the next team below you, then you don't play them at all. And that's kind of like. That's what some people are advocating that they liked about the bubble plan versus today, where it's automatically if you're the 10 seed. So to me, like the only game that really is relevant to is this one. I mean, the Spurs are 33 and 39, man. Like, I mean, they have a losing record. They've lost 4 in a row. Like, they just don't seem like themselves. And like you mentioned, the roster has just been kind of awkward for like a couple years now. Like, you got DeMar DeRozan, Rudy Gay, Dejounte Murray, like all these people who are kind of like jump shooters. I mean, even when LaMarcus Aldridge was on there, like that, he would kind of do that turnaround fadeaway. It just seems like a weird fit. Like, it's not exactly the roster that should be there with Pop in his final years. Something's awkward about it. I don't know what they got to change. Like the only 3-point threat they really got is Patty Mills and that other young guy. I'm spacing on his name. Yeah, Lonnie Walker. So I mean, there's potential pieces there, but yeah, man, I know the Grizzlies want this, bro. They were embarrassed the way they lost last year, and I think they're at least gonna get in this year and give it their best shot.
No, that's a good point that you make, man, about the maybe there being a cutoff, like you said, like if you're 5 games behind the ninth seed, then you shouldn't be there. If you're maybe even make it where if because I'm looking so even though Indiana's 34 and 38 on that side, and Washington is too, Charlotte's 33 and 9. They have the same record as San Antonio, but the other three teams
Right.
are not 5 games behind Boston. So it's not
Exactly.
that big of a leap. But the fact that because Memphis was literally 1 game away from playing against the Lakers. If they could have just pulled out the win, they would have been. They were 1 game away from the Lakers, playing against the Lakers in that series, and Curry just went off. You can't stop. I mean, if Curry goes off like that, there's nothing you can do. I'm with you, man. They probably should have just had that cut off like last time, and maybe that's something they can talk about next year when they especially now that LeBron hates the play-in, and you saw everyone was saying like, why are they having a play-in? Money, guys, like money and entertainment.
Yeah, money, more games, more money.
I love how people are like, I hate when a business does business decisions. Come on, guys, like they got to make money. You got to just like understand this is a business. And I think LeBron should understand more than anybody. Like he's got all these businesses.
Yeah.
Memphis all the way. San Antonio shouldn't be here. I'm perfectly cool with if next year they do that. The whole 5 games. You're 5 games behind the 9 seed. You don't get in, and they automatically get to play the loser of the first play-in game, of the other play-in game.
Yeah, I think so, man. I think so. I mean, come on, like 5 games. It's like you don't even belong in the same category as it. But hey, they're the Spurs. Well, for all we know, they'll make the 8 seed and take the Jazz to 7.
Yeah, Pop would do something like that. Pop would definitely do something like that. All right, next up, we'll get to the place that I don't think anyone really thought was going to happen, and that's the LA Lakers playing the Golden State Warriors in the play-in game. As we know, LeBron doesn't like the play-in game. He is completely against it, and it's funny when you didn't hear anything about it until they were in the play-in game. But I guess that's just kind of how things roll in the NBA. But the Lakers, Golden State Warriors, LeBron tweaked his ankle again. He tweaked his ankle again, and Curry is on fire. I don't know if I should do it, but I think I'm going to do it.
Go Warriors.
I'm going Warriors in this game, man. I think the Warriors take it. I think Curry goes – because I can guarantee you right now, Curry doesn't want to go 2 games in a row because that takes away from possibly winning some games in the next series. I think Curry wants to get into that into the playoffs in as little games as possible in 1 game. And what happens if LeBron and Ace and AD decide I don't want to? This game doesn't matter. Let's not play it. Like, do you trust anybody else on that Lakers team? I don't. So I'm going Curry, man. And even if AD does play, it goes down to the wire. Who do I trust with the ball in his hand and taking the last shot over AD and Curry? I'm taking Curry 9 times out of 10.
Yeah. I mean, it's interesting because the Warriors and Lakers are only separated by 3 games, so Golden State had that same issue as Dallas of just like a late start until they like really started clicking. But you're right, bro. Like a lot of this is momentum and, kind of how you swing into the playoffs. It's the same thing we just talked about, like Washington, Washington, well, especially Westbrook got hot at the right time,
Mm-hmm.
So I get it. I think part of me wants to just pick the Lakers automatically because I never imagined that they would get to this low of a level, but like maybe that's a red flag. Like, maybe I'm ignoring the red flag just because they're the Lakers and they won last year.
Yeah.
So that's possible. You know what, man? we picked all three the same so far, and I know we're gonna pick different ones, but I'm gonna go with Warriors too.
Yeah.
Let's make this consistent. I got to roll with the teams that have momentum going into this. And
No.
let me just say,
Go.
Just a quick detail. Look, when I watched the Grizzlies versus the Warriors, John Morant had the look in his eyes, bro. He wanted that fucking game, dude. But bro, Curry put that grown man.
There's levels
spectacular. To this. Exactly, bro.
There's levels to this. I get it, man. And you know what? Ja may one day become the Curry of the NBA, but Curry let him know, like, I'm still here. I'm not going anywhere.
Yeah.
I think he's only. Let me see. He's only 33, man. Like Curry's only 33 years old. He's got at least like 2 more years, 2 really great years in him. And I think this showed. I mean, we know with NBA players, the shot is the very last thing to go. You can be in your late 30s like a Ray Allen hitting threes. So I mean, I think I've seen Larry Bird, like videos of Larry Bird shooting. The dude's still money. he still has no issue.
It even reminds me of not Kyle Korver, even though he's probably an example too, but he was the guy who Mike Miller.
Yes.
Dude,
yes.
Mike Miller had like everything broken and he would still go out there and like knock down threes.
Knock down a 3 when he needed one.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. So the shot doesn't go nowhere. Yeah, there's levels to this. Bruce Boyd's with us. It's a Curry's playing out his mind right now, taking Warriors. Lakers on 100%. And when Curry is playing like he is, it's almost impossible to stop him. I hate Curry. Like people always say, how can you hate Curry? It's easy. It's not hard. But when he's sticking that damn, and it irks me, when he's chewing on his damn mouthpiece and he's shimmying, there's no stopping him, man. Like, it's just, he's feeling himself, and it's because it comes easy to him at that point. It's like it's like walking, like shooting half court jumpers is like walking to him. It's like breathing. It's just easy.
Yeah, man. He plays with like this childlike nature where he's just, it doesn't matter to him, as he doesn't overthink it. He's just splashing it, bro. Mm-hmm. If he has a second of daylight, he's hitting it, man. And bro, I tell you, man.
I would say, and I think this series, the series against the Suns would be a much favorable series for Curry than the series against the Jazz, because the Jazz are a very physical team, and also you don't want to play against the Grizzlies, because the one thing to do to get Curry out of his element is to be physical with him, kind of manhandle him. What the Rockets did is we put him on the ground a few times, and you kind of throw him off, because he's not big. He's not a big guy. So, do that. But against the Suns, Chris Paul's not going to – Chris Paul might. He's going to bother you, but he's not going to put you on the ground.
So Jay Crowder,
yeah.
Who's really the bully over there?
It's not.
We talked about this last show with Vernon Maxwell and Jordan, and Vernon Maxwell would tell Jordan, "Do you want to fight right now?" Like, fuck the game. Fuck the game. Do you want to?
So I know Bruce from like some from an NFL group from Inside the Horseshoe. Check out Inside the Horseshoe on YouTube. It's an NFL show that we do. We're Houston guys, Bruce, and we if you don't know, go back and look at like old Vernon Maxwell and MJ stuff. Like, it'll entertain you for a few hours for sure.
Yeah, dude. There's video of Vernon Maxwell like punching fans in the stands way before Ron Artest.
See, so Vernon Maxwell was a psycho, man. So he was a straight up psycho. I can't wait. Is he in the Hall of Fame?
I don't know.
Because if he's not, man, he better be. Just for punching, just for wanting to fight MJ. And I hope MJ inducts him.
Does a speech for him.
Yeah, I hope MJ inducts him, because it'd be amazing.
All right, so what are we looking at? We got Lakers, Grizzlies.
Lakers taking on the Grizzlies, and we have the Celtics taking on the Hornets. So this one is weird. Let's
start in the East. If you're down with that, let's start in the East.
Yeah. So Hornets, Celtics. It's weird, man. At this point, I think that game might come down to coaching.
Yeah.
Because Brad Stevens will have to make some kind of adjustment to make up for losing losing to the Washington Wizards. I think say like we have both our 7 seeds and the first play-in. I think that's where both teams are going to be like, okay, like this is serious. That we had the safety net. There's no safety net anymore, and I think I'm gonna go. I'm gonna say Tatum does it. I'm gonna say Tatum's able to pull it out and beat the Hornets. It's not the Hornets' time yet. Once again, the Hornets probably wouldn't even be in this position if LaMelo didn't break his wrist. But shit happens. You move on, and I think this just won't be the year. Maybe next year for the Hornets, but I'm gonna go Celtics.
Yeah, bro, I think you're right. And with both of these game 2 play-ins, there's the teams I want to win versus who I think are actually going to win. And I have to take the Celtics, man. Like they do have playoff experience, even though their depth might not be there right now. And yeah, man, I think LaMelo is going to have to take a loss and grow from it. It's only natural with young players coming in the NBA. Fortunately for Melo, he hasn't had to lose as bad as some first-round picks do in their first season. So I think the fact that he makes it to the playoffs is going to help him grow so much more as a person, man. But I ultimately have to take the Boston Celtics here.
And hey, man, I'm a UFC guy again. So one of the things you got to learn is how to lose. You got to learn how to lose big moments. And because your character and what you're going to be all depends on how you respond to that loss, how you respond to that heartbreak. And I think this would be a growing experience for LaMelo. Because like you said, this is me picking with my head, not with my heart. And I think just because it's such a young team, Miles Bridges hasn't been there as well. Rozier has, but I don't know if it's enough. So yeah, man, Boston, good luck Hornets next year. But I think the Celtics will take it in that series and move on to play Philly in the first series.
Yeah, just a note on like losing. I'm sure all of you are cool with hearing like a Kobe Bryant nugget. Is I heard an interview of Kobe Bryant. They asked him like what losing was like. You won all these championships, but what was losing like? And he said, "Oh, like it was the best." And I asked him, "What do you mean it was the best?" And he said, "Well, every time I lost, I realized I had a weakness that I didn't see before, So I hope not saying LaMelo is going to live by that quote, but he's going to get exposed in the playoffs. Regardless, even if he wins this game, he's not going to win the championship, but he's going to get exposed. He's going to see some of his weaknesses. He's going to see some of his team's weaknesses. And next year, bro, they can really make a splash and come prepared, come right into the playoffs and be successful. Yeah. But I digress.
I would say, and say which one about LeVar, man. LeVar has always kept these kids like grounded. I think even Lonzo never thought he was bigger than he actually was. I think Lonzo was just a victim of possibly his dad doing that to him, if anything else. Yeah. But Lonzo goes out there and he works, man. He works hard, and I think LaMelo is cut from that same cloth, where they go out there, they play hard, and if they have to go into it. He's probably a first in the gym, last to leave kind of guy.
I think so, man. So, I think there's genuine love from those guys, as far as basketball.
Absolutely. All right, let's go ahead and get to the next one. So we have the Grizzlies and the Lakers. This is kind of similar, man. Going to pick with my head, not my heart. I'm going to take the Lakers in this one. I think if they get to this point, if the Lakers get to this point, LeBron and AD will be playing, without a doubt. Yeah. They'll be playing. Yeah. The first game maybe being like, okay, let's see if we can get past them without LeBron and AD. If they can't, fine. If they can't, then we're playing Utah in the first series, which might be maybe a little more because Donovan Mitchell's not it's probably about as healthy as LeBron is at the moment, so probably a more favorable matchup for them. So I'm gonna go Lakers on this one.
Yeah, same with me. I think if the Lakers get to this point, they'll be pretty locked in as far as LeBron and AD. I think they'll be pretty locked in. Yeah, dude. Like, bro, I have a lot of praise for Memphis, man. Honestly, they are very similar to Charlotte, like you said. Like, I love what they got going on there. I know those guys want it. I think this one's really just a matter of experience for me. LeBron and AD just kind of been there, done that, proven they know how to turn it on at the right times. And I think, taking that lesson to Golden State, if they find themselves in this position, they're going to know what to do. So I'm going to roll with Lakers as well.
I'm going to put a qualifier on mine, though. If LeBron and AD do not play, this will be a game that the Memphis Grizzlies will win. But I'm going in with all like expectations that if they find themselves in this position, they'll be playing. But if they don't,
Same.
I think Ja Morant, like you said, he wanted that game. He has the fight in his eyes. I also think even though he went number 2, he probably has like some kind of chip on his shoulder, because I personally thought he was better than Zion, in my opinion. Let me see.
Yeah, he might still be, dude.
I don't agree with you on this, Bruce, because Zebo was one of those guys that when he came to Houston would ball out, and we had nothing to say. we never had any. I'd never seen such an unfit guy, like such an unathletic guy, like put up as many points against the Rockets as this guy did. This man couldn't even jump.
Bro, he was a bully down low, man. Like so many. I think the only other like player I remember giving the Rockets more problems was probably like LaMarcus Aldridge in Portland. Like he's almost in that same stratosphere of like nightmare Rockets matchups. Yeah, man. Chuck Hayes did his best though.
No Carlos Boozer was one of those guys too, man.
Oh, Carlos Boozer.
Man,
those power forwards, centers just lit our ass up, man.
Yeah. Poor Luis Scola. He tried, man. He tried.
Yeah, he tried. He had heart, bro.
He did. All right. Let's go ahead and get to the first series. So we'll start with the 1 and the 8 seed on the Eastern side, which is Philly and Boston. A little different from our last one. I think we had Boston in the 7th seed last time, and we had Charlotte here. So I'm gonna go. Actually, I'll go ahead and let you start on this one.
Okay, Philly Boston, right?
Yeah, Philly Boston.
Okay, yeah, man. I mean, I have to root with like Philly. Like I looked up a bunch of these matchups like before the show too. I mean, Philly swept the season series in all 3 of those games. Embiid, this is Embiid's stat line: 35 points, 38 points, and 42 points. Mm-hmm. So yeah, man, they got no answer for Embiid, bro. Like, I mean, and without Jaylen Brown, I don't even know how many games they can realistically win. But I'll probably say Philly in 5. I just think the process is going to be in domination mode in this series.
Yeah, I was actually going to go sweep too. I was going to go sweep, but I think you're right. Brad Stevens probably pulls out 1.
I mean,
ekes out 1. So I'll go Philly in 5 as well.
Yeah, man. Plus there's a bit of a rivalry. Like it might push them to win a game, sneak one in.
Yeah. All right. Next we have. Hold on. Here we go. We got Bruce going along with us. Philly. He's a Philly easy, right? I mean, I'm not a believer in Boston. Tatum can't carry that team. You might be right, man. You might.
Yeah.
Easy sweep. Yeah, easy sweep. So that's interesting. I think the thing is, I think Brad Stevens can eke 1 out. He can't win 4. He can't avoid the gentleman's sweep. But I do think that Brad Stevens will at least get you 1. Brad Stevens loves being an underdog, and no one if the Celtics are playing the 1 seed, and if they have the 8th seed right here, there will be absolutely 0 expectations, and that's where Brad Stevens thrives.
Yeah, here would be my recipe for like Boston to win 1. It'll probably be like a home game, Joel Embiid in foul trouble, and Tatum probably getting you like 40. I think that could be a recipe for a win.
And he can go out there and get you 40. He's shown it. He's just so inconsistent. That's my biggest problem with Jason Tatum. He's extremely inconsistent. So, but yeah, he could get you 1, have one of those type of games, and just have like an off night for Embiid or something. All right, let's go ahead and go to the 1 seed on the Western side, Utah and the Lakers.
Yeah.
So at this point, I would be assuming that LeBron and AD are playing more minutes. I think LeBron would be able to neutralize Gobert, or at least AD would be able to, and LeBron can probably neutralize Donovan. I don't even want to say it, but I'm gonna go ahead and say it. Lakers in 6. I'm gonna go Lakers in 6. Playoff LeBron is a whole different animal. Like he is.
Yeah, he is. And also the Jazz aren't familiar with this position. So like I get it. Dude, the Lakers are just such the X factor in this playoffs because we just don't know what we're gonna get. I mean, LeBron hasn't been playing. Like we don't really know. If you would have asked me at the beginning of the season, I would easily told you Lakers, like maybe even Lakers in 5 or 6 that they would beat Utah. I don't know, man. I'm historically like the 1 and 2 seeds win, so I'm gonna pick Utah. I'll take them in 7. But yeah, I mean, if it's the same LeBron and AD as last year, I mean, I totally get where you're coming from. I don't doubt you at all.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm going. Is I think LeBron can turn on another gear if he needs to. So I'm gonna go, and I think losing in the first round would be a huge loss in their eyes. It'd be a bad season. Go back to the drawing board, figure something out. So I don't know if they're ready to do that yet. So I'm gonna go Lakers in 1. I mean in 6. I'm gonna go 6.
Lakers in 1.
Lakers in 1. Yeah, they just give them 1.
Yeah, just beat their ass so bad.
All right, next one we got on the Eastern side. Brooklyn and Washington, the series that we were talking about. Also, if you're listening, please drop your thoughts in the comments. Your picks for each series. I would love to see them, and I'll put them up on the screen whenever they come.
Hell yeah!
So yeah, I'm gonna go. So we're gonna go Brooklyn, Washington. The very much anticipated playoff series
rematch, and Harden's playing too.
And Harden, we got a whole. All we're missing is Ibaka.
Yeah,
all we're missing is Sturridge, but he's over in LA. So yeah, you want to go ahead and start on this one?
Yeah, man, I'm gonna take Brooklyn, bro. I mean, man, like these last couple games, Brooklyn's been hella fun to watch. Like they're kind of reminding me how good they are, to be honest. I don't necessarily know if I want to pick them. Like I'm still kind of split on that, but they're definitely like winning me back over because I'm just seeing like the level of talent, man. Like just KD and Kyrie alone are enough talent to probably win a championship. Yeah. And the fact that like Harden is coming back, dude, this team's gonna be a juggernaut, man. And I gotta go Brooklyn. Like if it's Russ playing KD in them. If Bradley Beal is healthy, I still don't see it. I gotta go sweep, man. Brooklyn sweep over Washington.
Yeah, I have problems with Brooklyn, but I'm not going to bring them up in this series because they're probably going to sweep the Wizards.
Yeah.
Russell might get ejected in one of these games. I'm also thinking like that. Like he might throw an elbow at KD or something. Who knows?
Yeah.
Or tweet something at KD and KD will tell the official to suspend him for one of the games. So it's gonna be a sweep. I think Brooklyn. Not only because, so like I said, I'm gonna keep my reservations to myself until the next series, but at least this momentum of them all playing together is not gonna be bad right now. But it's gonna help them because they're having fun, they're playing with each other, they're not having any issues, and they're not being tested. It's the next series that I worry about probably.
Yeah,
but we got here.
Yeah, I agree.
Bruce said Brooklyn over Washington 4-0 sweep, so he's right there with us.
Yeah, it's fun. Go ahead.
I was gonna say the story leading up to the games are going to be a lot better than the actual games are.
Exactly. Yeah, like I'll probably watch all the games just because I'm so interested in like not missing a highlight, but of Westbrook and KD. But yeah, man, I think that's it.
All right. Next on the Western side, we got Phoenix and Golden State. Um, I like Phoenix, man. I like Phoenix a lot. I don't like the Warriors. Um, I don't think Curry is enough, unfortunately. Um, Bruce Bruce said until Brooklyn has to play defense, they will be good. I agree. I
Yeah,
agree. 100%. So Golden State and Phoenix, I think Phoenix, they just have more talent everywhere. Whereas James
yeah,
Wiseman, one, he got hurt, and two, he wasn't turning out to be what everyone thought he was going to be. And Kelly Oubre and Andrew Wiggins are so inconsistent that they just can't consistently put up numbers that they need to put up. So I am going to go Phoenix probably in 5. I think Curry will pull out one. So a gentleman's sweep for Phoenix, but I think Phoenix, keeps going on this little run that they've been on. They've been the biggest surprise this year, and it's the reason why I've been loving this season. It's the reason why if Chris Paul wins MVP, I'll be okay with it because it's 100% understandable. It's what I used to think the MVP was about before I understood what numbers were. I used to think
yeah,
whoever like always used to look at it like if you take that player off of the team, what would happen with that team? And I think with Phoenix, if you take Chris Paul off that team, they're a lottery team again. So Chris Paul means everything to this team, and he can put the
it's true.
handcuffs on Curry, man. Like he doesn't mind. He did it. He
Yeah,
did it in the Houston series. We know that series all too well. But
yeah,
before Chris Paul goes down, we were winning that series, and I even argue that if Chris Paul doesn't go down, we won that series in 6, not in 7. So I think Chris Paul has Curry's number, and he's gonna do it here. He's gonna pay him back for that Houston series.
yeah. I mean, when Chris Paul was in on the Clippers, he struggled with Curry towards the latter years, and then once he came to Houston, he kind of got like reinvigorated, like got his swag back,
Mm-hmm.
playing Curry because we were always playing them in the playoffs, even the regular season battles too.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I think the thing about Curry versus Paul is like Curry's still going to get off his shots, but Chris Paul knows how to play him in a more of a chess match compared to really trying to like keep up with him and run and all this shit. Like he's going to know how to pick him apart both offensively and defensively, at least to make it competitive point guard to point guard. But yeah, when you look at the surrounding talent, I mean, that's where I got to lean with Phoenix.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you're the Warriors, you really just got Draymond as your glue inside. But I mean, now he's got to face DeAndre Ayton. Not to mention, you got Devin Booker,
Mm-hmm.
who's man, I always forget this guy's name. He has this Italian sounding name on the Warriors,
Oh,
Toscano or
yeah.
yeah, and it's like who's exactly going to keep up with Devin Booker? Like, is it going to be that guy or is it going to be like Wiggins maybe? But dude, Andrew Wiggins, bro. There's so many games I watch him miss shots, bro, and it's painful to watch. I just don't get it. Like, maybe it's a mental thing. I mean, you're talking about the guy who was a number 1 draft pick at one point, and bro, he has everything else. He has the rebounding, he has the defense. There's even times like he'll make a big shot, down the stretch, but it's just that consistency, that rhythm shot he just does not have, man. And like you mentioned, Kelly Oubre too. So bottom line, I got to take Phoenix. I think it'll be a competitive series. So I'm gonna say Phoenix in 6,
All right.
but that's it.
You agree with Bruce. Bruce says he can see Curry pushing this 6 games, but Phoenix is just too much. They are the better team and are very well rounded. Phoenix over
Yeah.
Warriors 4-2. So we're on
Shout out Bruce.
yeah, we're on the same page with Phoenix. I think Phoenix is just too much. I also think Monty Williams is the better coach over Kerr. I love Monty Williams. I will sing the praises of Monty Williams forever because I think he's that good of a coach. Also, I just wanted to I meant to point it out during earlier when we were talking about Steph Curry's scoring title. He has the kind of the I don't want to say so. He's got the fourth oldest. He's the fourth oldest player to win a scoring title. But
okay.
not necessarily the fourth oldest. He's really only the third because the first three spots are held by MJ.
Okay.
Or older. So you have at number 5, Jerry West was 31 years and 298 days.
Wow.
And he won it in 69 and in the 69-70 season. Then you have Curry at 4 with 33 years and 63 days. Get this. MJ is just above him for the 95-96 year, 33 years and 64 days. So literally by one day, he's
That's
just
crazy.
a little bit older. And then MJ in the 96-97 season, 34 years, and the 97-98 season, 35 years. So that's some pretty big names to be up there with for Curry.
Yeah.
And we all know Curry is a first ballot Hall of Famer. Like, there's no doubt about it.
Bro, and he caught up on because Bradley Beal was dominating that scoring in the beginning of the season. I remember at the All-Star break, we're like, shit, Bradley Beal's averaging like almost 40 a game. Some shit. It was crazy, man. So, Curry turned it around.
It was that April, man. He had a killer April. He probably had the best April of like any NBA player ever because he's been on that monster tear. Bruce says one more thing to add. Says Andrew Wiggins is still salty that LeBron didn't want him. You're probably right, man.
Maybe.
You're probably right. I was surprised definitely when because it is a pretty bad look when LeBron's like, I'll take Kevin Love over Andrew Wiggins.
Yeah, I mean, maybe LeBron I don't know, man. Something about Wiggins, bro. It's like he has all the badass tools, but he's just not like a great mechanic or something. Yeah. Like, I don't know what it is, man.
Yeah, you're right. It is weird. He's got all the I'm a mechanic, so I'm like, we know what it's like to have some great tools, but sometimes it's just you, man.
Yeah, exactly. There we go.
They say a man blames his tools.
But there you go, man.
That hurts because sometimes I do blame my tools when I'm at work.
That's you blaming LeBron.
This hammer sucks.
This hammer didn't want me.
All right, let's get to the next series. We'll go to the 3 seed. The 3 seed series, Milwaukee, Miami. But before we do that, let me go step away. I'm going to grab one more beer. But we're going to be talking Milwaukee, Miami, which is personally my series to watch. So I'll be right back. Hold on.
Cool. Yo, man, just since it's just me on there, follow me on Twitter at Black McLaren or on Instagram at PL Trinidad. Some of the other things I'll be doing, chopping it up, making music. Also a big fan of the Texas Longhorns. That's my college I went to. So I like to talk Longhorns as well. It's a lot more of a political game, with the recruiting and just being attached to a university, the players not getting paid. It's always interesting. That's something that sparks my interest as well. But get at me there.
All right. Sorry about that, man.
You good, bro? I did a little promo.
Hell yeah, man. Check out Paul's music, man, if you can. He's got some pretty good stuff. I've been listening to him since I was in high school, so it was sweet. And I still love that first mixtape you put out, bro. It was awesome.
Thanks, bro. Thanks, man.
I still think of the I always forget the name of the song. The one where you're talking about Pink Floyd. Oh, I always forget the song.
Bro, that should tell you, like, if even I forget, like, how many I made and how much time has passed. I know what you're talking about, though.
Yeah, I love that song, man.
Had that sample in the back.
Hell yeah. All right, let's get to the next series, man. Milwaukee, Miami. My series to watch here. Upset alert, possibly, I would say. But I'll go ahead and let you start with this one.
Yeah, man. I've gone back and forth on this a lot. Like, Milwaukee's a team who kind of had that slow, like the first 10 games, they had like a slow start, wasn't looking super promising. But also, they turned it around, which is good. I think Giannis kind of settled in. Holiday kind of settled in. And they're an impressive team, man. But my doubts with them is like, here we are in the postseason again. And I have no reason to really think that they're going to win this year. Like, there hasn't been enough to change to really like convince my mind that they're that much better. I do like that they got Holiday, but it kind of makes me think like, imagine that team like a Harden instead of a Holiday, because that was basically the same trade.
Yeah.
So, and then I look at Miami, and dude, Miami, I mean, defensively, they got all the pieces to stop Giannis, bro. I mean, you got Bam, you got veterans like Iguodala, Ariza on the perimeter. I mean, Dragic's always playing hard. You got Jimmy Butler. You can't really ask for like a better defensive assignment. And then you got Mitchell Robinson and Tyler Hero, who can shoot from the perimeter. I think like the only thing Miami really is missing is like that. If only they had someone like create their own shot, kind of like that playmaking ability to ISO. Bro, Harden on Miami, I thought would have been the perfect fit, but it didn't happen. I'll digress on that. So yeah, man, like the last 2 weeks, I took Milwaukee, but I think I'm gonna go ahead and roll with Miami this year. I thought about how impressive this week, not this year. I thought about how impressive they were last year, and I don't know, man, just kind of reminiscing. Same place I was in last year, I realized like how good of a team they are. Everyone's fairly healthy on that squad. And, Milwaukee's kind of walking in the same as last year with Budenholzer in a similar position. So I'm going to roll Miami, man. I think it'll make an interesting second-round matchup with Brooklyn, but I'm going to take the Heat.
Interesting. So the laptop's about to die because I have that kind of luck. So give me 1 second. I will give my pick.
Not much else I can promote while Alex gone. But, yeah, man, if any of you are watching, I'm open to see your thoughts on the series. I'm open to changing my mind on this one, but – just got to respect the Heat. Plus Jimmy Butler, Tomball, Texas. That's where my family stays. So that could be some of my bias pouring in. But yeah, I got huge respect for Jimmy. Can you imagine if they got James Harden? Holy shit, dude! That would have been a cool team. Jimmy Butler, James Harden, Bam.
Technology, guys, technology. All right, so I love the Heat, guys. I love the Heat. I like Tyler Hero a lot. Duncan Robinson is going to be one of those guys who, as Bruce said here, D-Rob X Factor and Duncan Robinson. He's going to be a guy who is going to be one of those. He's going to be the Ray Allen of this Miami Heat team. He's going to hit shots when you need the shot. He's not going to ever be a 20-point consistent guy, but he's going to be a Kyle Korver, Ray Allen, where he's going to always get you that shot when you need it. Now the Bucks, Budenholzer is on the hot seat. If he does not make it to at least the conference finals and maybe the finals, I think he's gone.
Maybe.
So he's coaching for his life here. You have Jrue Holiday, and you kind of got to do the what. Now I got you the pieces. What can you do with it? You have a nice little shooter, Jrue Holiday, over there. Some other shooters like DiVincenzo, and
Giannis is still.
Yeah, and Giannis has gotten better, man. Giannis has gotten better at shooting at three. But like you said, Miami has the tools that they need to take away Giannis, because this is all going to come down to, can Giannis make the shots make the outside shots? Because what they usually do to Giannis in the playoffs is they just build a wall. They don't let him go anywhere. They tell him, all right, you either got to win it out here or you got to pass it to one of your teammates. And he hasn't had the teammates to pass it to. I mean, Middleton's always been there, but I don't really like Middleton that much. If D good, Jrue Holiday's good. So I'm going Bucks in 7, but I'm not, like, I wouldn't put money on it. I'm not comfortable with it. And like I said, this could be my upset alert of the entire first round is these two teams, because Spoelstra is so damn good, man. Spoelstra should not have been able to get that team last year to the finals. And the fact that they were not only in the finals, but they lost Bam and Goran Dragic and still were able to at least eke out one, So
Yeah.
against that dominant Lakers team. So I'm gonna go Bucks just because out of desperation for Budenholtz. Uh, so yeah, that's where I'm gonna go with Bucks.
Yeah. Respect.
All right, we'll go to the three versus the 6 seed on the other side. Denver, Portland. Um, This is one I think is fairly easy, and I think is gonna be one of those like sweeps that no one expects, but then happens. I'm going Denver. I think Nikola Jokic has been playing crazy good. Um, Even though haters want to hate and fucking say he's not the MVP, dude is the MVP. Like he deserves it. He this team should have been dead in the water when Jamal Murray went down, and he kept them not only afloat but got them to a higher seed. So
That's
I'm
true.
gonna go Denver here. Aaron Gordon gets some well needed playoff experience. Michael Porter Jr. shows shows the Nuggets like, hey, don't get rid of me yet. Like I'm still worth it. So I'm gonna go Denver over Portland in 4.
Yeah. Man,
Also,
this.
I don't like Terry Stotts. Sorry.
Hey, that's kind of a good segue for me because I feel like Portland has the pieces on paper. Like Jamal Murray's out, and you have Dame showing up. You have CJ. You even have Norm Powell. So like your guards are stacked. I mean, even Nurk should be able to manage Joker in an ideal world, but I just feel like we're always in this situation with Portland, man. Like I can't put too much stock in them in the playoffs. Like sometimes they can win a series, but I know they're not gonna make a serious run, man. And it sucks, bro. I don't like saying that. Like I like watching Dame Lillard, play and hit his half court threes and his buzzer beaters, and I'm sure he's gonna bring some of that. So yeah, man, I'm gonna take Denver. I think it'll actually be a tough series, so I'm gonna say Denver in 6. But I gotta roll with the Joker this time.
All right, Bruce, go ahead and drop your prediction if you got it. Yeah. All right, let's get to the your awaited one, your awaited series. We got your man Julius Randle taking on the Atlanta Hawks in this series. Go ahead and start, man. I know you're a big Julius Randle
Yeah.
fan.
Yeah, I mean, this past week, like the Knicks and Miami were kind of like flip flopping places.
Mm-hmm.
And it kind of like grew my perspective because I was like, damn, if the Knicks play Milwaukee, it's over. Like
Yeah.
they're not gonna fucking last. Like it was like Atlanta, Knicks, and Miami doing this like carousel all week. But ultimately, dude, fucking New York won most of the games and it ended up in the 4 seed still. And I think this is the best matchup they could have asked for. Fucking D Rose has had a solid season. Julius Randle's, obviously leading that team. And Atlanta has some nice pieces too, man. Like I don't knock them at all, but I just think the Knicks kind of have that combination and that momentum and that flow right now. So I'm gonna take New York. It'll be a long series. It's not gonna be easy. So I'm gonna take New York in 7, but I gotta put my stock in Julius Randle this year. Get Trae Young some more help, man. You aren't done yet, Atlanta. You got him some pieces, but you're not done yet. So we'll see next year.
Get him a good coach, because I just looked up the coach and I just realized Nate McMillan is the interim coach here for these guys, for the Hawks, and it's going to come down to Tom Thibodeau, who literally put this Knicks team was not supposed to be here, man. Like this team should have been a lottery pick, fighting with the Rockets for the number 1 pick overall, because they missed out on Zion last year. So it's like, where did this team come from? And all of a sudden, not only are they in the playoffs, they're hosting a playoff series. Like they have the home court advantage, where I think it's definitely going to be needed here in this series. Out of all the series, this is probably the series that needs it the most, because it's a toss-up, kind of like either team can really take this. So like it could be like a Julius, like what we saw with Jamal Murray and Donovan Mitchell last year. in the playoffs. It could be that with Trey and Julius, just going back and forth, or Trey and
Yeah.
maybe RJ Barrett has a crazy series. But I'm gonna go Knicks in 7. Like I said, Tom Thibodeau, he's got that team to buy in. Whatever he's selling, the entire Knicks team is buying. And you can't speak enough about how important that is to have a team buying in to, especially a team like the Knicks, who were no one wanted to go to the Knicks, no one wanted to play for the Knicks, and Tom Thibodeau goes there and completely turns the entire organization upside down. And now we're seeing a Knicks team that I can see competing and pulling in really big name free agents in these upcoming years. So I like it, man. I like it. And I've always heard old NBA players say the NBA is at its height when the New York Knicks and the LA Lakers are good. When they're good, it's a great NBA season. And this has probably been one of my favorite NBA seasons this year, which is weird because my Rockets aren't there. But it's like I'm really looking forward to this. And maybe it's because like we can like take a step back in the
right and appreciate it. Yeah.
Or like, okay, I have no stakes in this. I don't really care what happens. So I'm able to look at it from a better perspective, kind of like when the Texans are in the playoffs too. So all right, we got Bruce chiming in right here. He says he wants the Knicks to be back so bad. Knicks in 6.
Yeah.
I like it, man. I think 7 because Trae Young is that good. Clint Capella is that good. So and John Collins. I always forget they have John Collins too.
Yeah.
So
dude, I mean, and Lou Will as well. Like they're gonna have the score. And part of the reason why I'm picking Knicks, bro, is just the games that I've seen. The Knicks have closed those games out. Like when it's a close game, the Knicks have that ability to close it out, and you just don't expect it. Like you look at D Rose, you look at Julius Randle, and just kind of like the misfit bunch that they have there, and it's like, how are they about to close this out? And they just consistently do, man.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what really gives them the edge. But yeah, Atlanta's a great team. I hope it goes to 7.
Hey, Julius Randle said, because I think they asked him like, "Oh, do you think you have a big 3?" Julius Randle said, "We got a big 5."
Yeah,
like, we're all here. We're all playing, and that's, dude. Look back to. I'm not trying to put too much pressure on the Knicks. I know they're all watching, so I don't want to put too much pressure on them.
Yeah.
But look at the was it the 05 Pistons? Like that team should not have been able to beat Kobe in the finals, but they were a good team. They were a bunch of good players that bought into a system and played really great defense, and were able to beat Kobe in that finals. Like people always think like, oh, it's always about the best player, man. Like you had those years where it's not always about the best player. It's sometimes about the best team. So, even though he's saying he wants the Knicks to be back so bad, it is a very big possibility. You don't know, like Philly, Embiid might shit the bed at some point in the second round. We're not going to talk second round this tonight, but I mean, you never know. Shit happens.
Yeah. Shit literally will happen.
Yeah, shit happens, man. It does. All right, let's go ahead and get to the next, the 4-5 seed, the final playoff series in the first round. And that is the Clippers and the Dallas Mavericks. So we talked earlier about the Clippers. And because of what I've said, I've kind of talked myself into and that chart you sent me. You're over here. You're messing with my head. I'm gonna go, the fact that the Mavs have done so well. Because remember when we first started this, dude, like we were really shocked of how low the Mavericks were.
Yeah. You called it though, bro. You called it early. You were like, I think the Mavs are going to turn it around. But back then we were talking like them getting into the 7th or 8th seed.
Yeah.
And here they are at 5.
The time they were like 9-10.
Yeah. Yeah, man.
So
180.
Yeah, a complete 180. Luka's playing so good right now. And you know what, dude? Like, say what you want about Luka, man. That shot that he made last year, I will always like. To me, that is a shot that will be played forever on ESPN. Of like this series, this game, second shot in overtime, and he takes it because I think they were tied in overtime. and no, they were down by 1, and he takes that shot like 2 people in his face, and he sinks it. And I'm not a Mavs fan. I hate all things Dallas, and I yelled, like I audibly yelled, like, oh, excuse me. I was like, oh damn! Like, and my girlfriend was like, why are you screaming? I was like, Luka just hit this crazy shot, and she's like, you hate the Mavs. I'm like, I know. But like I am also a sports fan that can appreciate great sports moments, and that was a great sports moment that will live with me forever. It shows that Luka's a man. I know people say he's a kid. I know he's young. Luka's a man. That was a man shot that he hit, and I don't think he loses a second series to the Clippers, man. Like, not to these Clippers, to these mentally weak Clippers. That's what it seems like. So I'm going Mavs, man. Mavs over the Clippers, round 1. I know I had them. I think I had them in the conference finals last week. You had them in your finals.
Yeah,
I'm going Mavs, man.
bro. Like, I'm so glad you did, because like part of the stuff I was texting you was leading up to this moment. I'm also taking Mavs, man. Bro, I just like basically what I shared with Alec was a graphic, and it showed the teams that have been it compared teams pre All-Star versus post All-Star and the rate of success that they've had. And the Mavs are the top of the chart, man. Ever since the All-Star break, they've been rolling, dude. And there's still big question marks about them. I don't think they're title contenders. Kristaps Porzingis is a bit inconsistent. I mean, Rick Carlisle, a lot of people are giving him shit too. But at the end of the day, it's some of the same points that you hit on, Alec. And this is why I emphasize, like, if there was a crowd, I think it would be even easier to pick the Mavericks here, because it would be rocking compared to the Clippers having a crowd. But anyways, I digress. The main reason I'm picking them is because of Luka, bro. Like, I can't deny him. I love Kawhi, bro, and I don't want to doubt Kawhi, but the only thing I feel like is it's only Kawhi on the Clippers. I mean, we can't really rely on Paul George to give you great playoff performances historically. Ty Lue, first year as the head coach. And then you got Luka coming in trying to get his revenge on the team that knocked him out, man. And I think if you look at the Mavs versus the Clippers from All-Star break on, I mean, you could argue that the Mavs are the better team. So, yeah, I was texting you all day, and this is what I was leading up to is this is my leap of faith this week. I'm going to actually go ahead and take the Mavs in the first round based on this matchup, and we'll see what happens.
I'm actually going to pull up what you sent me. I was able to find it. That's why I was like looking for. We have this right here. So as you can see, way down here, the Oklahoma City Thunder. Right here, you got the Rockets.
So the Thunder went like 1-20. I think that's why they're down there, because they like lost most games after. But anyways,
and then you have the Lakers right here, which was the LeBron injury and the AD injury at the same time, basically dealing with that. Right here, you have another one, which is the Hornets here, which isn't surprising. That was the LaMelo Ball injury.
Yeah,
this is funny right here. Brooklyn, right here, so low because they just can't seem to get their guys to play all the time.
Right.
Another surprising one here, and these other two right here. You got the Suns and the Bucks, dude. Like, I mean, the Suns they were competing for a long time with Utah for that 1 seed, and even though they're very close, I mean, it was 51-21, but
they were the number 1 team for a while, the Suns.
Yes, they were, but after a while, like it did start to seem like, man, Utah is kind of the clear-cut number 1 team, even though I had them losing in the first round. But I digress. And then way over here, which is kind of the reason why I pick Dallas, man, is Dallas just went on this monster streak where they're the best. Like it shows here, they were the best team since the All-Star break. And some people say the NBA season doesn't start till All-Star break. Like that's just what I don't say that. That's what some people say though. We have one thing here. Bruce on the last one says Luka can flip the switch whenever he wants, and he's taking the Mavs as well. So good to see that we're all kind of on the same page. We're on the same wavelength. So good to see. I can't wait to see these playoffs, man. I'm so excited for tomorrow.
Fuck yeah.
It's so much fun. My girlfriend's gonna be so mad because she's gonna want to watch Criminal Minds. I'm gonna say, sorry, babe, it's playoff season. This is the deal.
Sorry, Crystal.
Yeah, you have to deal with it. She knew what she was getting into. She knew what she was getting into. All right, man.
My wife too.
So, hey, that's what happens when you get with someone who loves sports. Like we're taking, because the funny thing is they're always like, okay, football season's over. I know, but we're in basketball season.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Well, basketball season's over. Yeah, but there's some baseball. There's some good baseball stuff. Or football season starting to pick up. Like this. There's never a break. I'm like, I know. I'm sorry.
NFL is also getting good at capitalizing on these, like the draft, the schedule release.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like everything is like an event now, and it's like, well, like I don't want to miss it. For being honest, I want to watch it.
NFL draft. I sat for the first night. I sat down for all 4 hours. Like I sat down and watched all 4 hours. Crystal sat with me for like an hour, and then she was like, "Yeah, I'm done."
Yeah,
like she was on her phone most of the time. I didn't mind. I was on a stream with Inside the Horseshoe, and we did the entire show. And man, it was just it's like I said, it's a spectacle. Like everyone kind of knows where the picks are going to happen, but then there's always that like someone falls or someone gets taken early, and you're just like, oh shit, like it's going crazy. So NFL is great at that. But before we leave, I wanted to check out one thing. Bleacher Report finally put out a regular season ending first round mock draft, and I love mock drafts. I love them.
Yeah.
So
way too early mock draft.
Oh, I love way too early mock drafts, but this is the
best ones.
This is a perfect timing mock draft right here. Rockets taking Cade Cunningham number 1, dude. If only, like, please let this be the thing. It makes the entire series completely worth it. We get Cade Cunningham. If we lose Cade Cunningham, I would be extremely sad and upset and probably inconsolable for like a day or two.
Bro, I can't imagine us like I don't even want to think about another reality where we don't get Cade. Straight up, like I hope I'm not setting myself up for disappointment. But damn, bro, it's like the one thing that I'm hoping happens to like equalize the Harden trade or mishap.
I agree, man. So I was actually also interested to see that not only us, the Houston Rockets, are completely dependent on getting the top 4 pick, but the Minnesota Timberwolves and the Chicago Bulls are also very reliant on getting a top 4 pick, because if we don't get a top 4 pick, our pick reverts back to the Oklahoma City Thunder. If Minnesota is outside the top 4, their pick goes back to the Golden State Their pick goes to the Golden State Warriors. And for the Chicago Bulls, if they're outside the top 4, their pick will go to the Orlando Magic. So it would be insane to see if any of these teams don't pick within the top 4. And at the moment, obviously, we're at number 1. We have a 14% chance to get the number 1 overall, which is the highest percentage chance. And the odds at the top 4, we're at 52.1%. So, the odds are pretty good for us to
feel good.
Pick. But, crazy things have happened. But like you said, not letting myself go there. I can't.
Tillman Fertitta better pay off Adam Silver.
Yeah, please. Also, this mock draft was done by Jonathan Wasserman at Bleacher Report.
Okay.
So at the 2nd overall pick, you have the Detroit Pistons taking Jalen Green. Their odds at number 1 is 14%. And their pick stays with them regardless. So Jalen Green, shooting guard from the G League Ignite. So I don't know much about him. I'll have to go and look at some highlights for him, but it'd be interesting to see. Number 3, the Orlando Magic, obviously possibly keeping theirs. The odds at number 1, they have a 14%. And it has them taking Evan Mobley, the center from USC, which makes complete sense. Trading Nikola Vucevic and kind of rebuilding from the ground up. Why wouldn't you want to take Evan Mobley there?
Yeah, I agree.
All right, then you have number 4, the Oklahoma City Thunder taking Jalen Suggs. I think another one that's a really good pick. Jalen Suggs is going to be one of those guards that I think will be more of a 3-point shooting guy, but also a shot creator. I don't know if he can be at the star of a team, but he does have the mental toughness to make it in this league. I think without a doubt.
Definitely.
And then
I'm with you on that one.
And you think about like him playing with Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, that'll be a fun little pair
for sure. Yeah, backcourt for the future for sure. If they draft him, right. Dude, I just hope the Rockets get that pick, man.
Dude, me too. I'm trying to look over 5 Cavaliers, Jonathan Kuminga, G League Ignite, Golden State Warriors via Timberwolves, Keon Johnson, Tennessee, shooting guard from Tennessee. I don't know much about him. Didn't watch any Tennessee games, so all I know is that they could possibly be ready to move on from Klay Thompson with his last 2 injuries. So this could be one of the a pick for that.
Yeah, they got to prepare at least.
Then you got Toronto Raptors, Scotty Barnes from Florida State, small forward or power forward. Sorry, Orlando Magic via Bulls, Jalen Johnson. So you have the Magic taking 2 top 10 picks here, one in Jalen Johnson and one in Evan Mobley. All of a sudden, they have a very young front court, so could work out for the Orlando Magic.
Man. Magic feel like they're always rebuilding, but again, I mean, they're kind of in this fortunate position. This is a good draft. There's plenty of talent.
Mm-hmm, absolutely. Number 9, Pelicans taking Davion Mitchell from Baylor. That'd be a really good pick for them. Would be interesting to see them go point guard. It could mean that they're moving on from Lonzo Ball. In the bill.
That's what I was thinking.
In the future, Bruce saying Cade is built for the NBA. He could be a beast on day one. That's the hope, man. That is 100% the hope. I really do hate the draft lottery. Man. It's the worst. I hope they get rid of it.
Bro. Come on. Why are we still doing this?
Like we could be the Jacksonville Jaguars right now. Just like we already know what we're getting. We're good. But we still have to tune into that dreaded draft lottery on ESPN.
Yeah, who do you think the Rockets are going to send? Christian Wood?
Maybe.
John Wall.
They're going to send Vernon Maxwell.
Yeah.
Vernon Maxwell's going to bully Adam Silver into giving us the number 1 pick.
Hell yeah.
All right, number 10, Sacramento Kings, Franz Wagner. That's a good pick for them. Let's see, because we have a few more picks. Moses Moody is a good pick for the Hornets. Josh Giddey. Trying to see where the Rockets are at. So our next pick would be the goddamn. Where is it? Okay, 21 via the Blazers, which you'll love this one. Kai Jones, power forward from Texas, from UT.
Dude,
you've been speaking this man's praises.
Hell yeah, man! If Rockets can get Kai Jones that late, I mean, that would be fucking awesome, bro. Seawood and Kai Jones. Ooh, I mean, that's like a versatile front court. I don't even know who to compare it to, but very, very lengthy, very athletic, tall front court is the best way I could describe if that happened.
Absolutely. And then at the 24th pick, the Houston Rockets take in Sharif Cooper, shooting a point guard from Auburn. This 100% makes sense. I don't know much about Sharif Cooper, but we do need a point guard. I think that by the end of or by the trade deadline next year, I think John Wall will be gone. They'll either find a way to get rid of him. To send him somewhere if they can, or if not, he could be a buyout guy. Just kind of Tillman saying, "I'll eat it here. Let's start the rebuild." So Sharif Cooper makes complete sense right there.
Man. John Wall is ready to be moved. I saw some video on Instagram of John Wall. They're like playing like games with him or something. Mm-hmm. Some media thing, and I was like, man, this guy don't want to be here.
No, he doesn't. It's okay. So one more.
It's mutual.
One more for you, man. At number 28, the Philadelphia 76ers select Greg Brown from UT. Good love to the UT guys.
Yeah, man. Greg Brown was like on the fence till this week. Actually, he waited to like last minute to declare for the draft, and then he finally did. But he was one of those guys. Like I think maybe a part of him wanted to come back, but he was just way too talented. And like when you're going near the first round, I mean, there's really no point in staying in college at that point. Dude, for Philly, he'd be a monster. Like he's a 3-and-D guy. Like I would kind of compare him to like what a young Ariza was. Just for the sake of our show and some relevance. Yeah, man, he has crazy potential. Like he won't be a star in the league, but I mean, he'll get that pretty locked down. He can knock down a three and he could lock somebody up. So yeah, future's bright. Is it someone like Philly? Shit, that'd be perfect.
Yeah, for sure. So I want to say thank you to Bruce for joining. He also said one more thing. He said in terms of Cade Cunningham, he said Rockets can use him. Plus, he plays defense, guys. Absolutely. He might have been talking about Kai Jones. I'm not sure. One of those two.
Well,
please, if
we
you're
can use
still
any
here,
defense.
yeah, any defense would help right now. But I appreciate you, Bruce, for joining us, and everyone else who joined us live. We'll be back next week to kind of cover the games that we watched this upcoming week and just break down what we saw, what we thinking going forward.
Yeah.
And we'll be back next week, guys. So you can catch me on. Oh, before we go, I'm sorry. I wanted to bring up, because we didn't bring it up when it happened, and I'm sorry for it. The passing of Jake Ellinger, played at UT. His son, Sam Ellinger, was just drafted by the Indianapolis Colts.
Yeah.
He was found dead in his dorm room. I'm trying to see if they found out why. So they're saying that his death is not considered suspicious so far, and this came out 5 days ago. This report that I'm looking at. So it really sucks to see somebody so young. He was only 20 years old, with a bright future ahead of him, die the way and pass the way he did so suddenly without any warning. So all my love to his family, to Sam Ellinger and the entire Ellinger family. And, just when people die, when your loved ones die this young, it always, brings me back to our friend Joel. And just, whenever you have a friend or someone or a loved one that you haven't told them you love them, then like, please take this moment to say you love them, because you never know when it's the last chance you get to. So, all my love and condolences to the Ellinger family, and I hope they're able to get through this. So yeah,
Yeah, thanks, bro. Like that was well said, man. And just coming from the Longhorn point of view, like it was heartbreaking for sure. Like, I mean, if you go to a school or whether you do or not, any college student around that age passing is just like tragic, man. Like you hear these kids like dying at a university. It's just so sad, bro. And for Jake, he was also a popular guy, man. And it was just kind of a shock. Like you mentioned, his brother had been drafted only 5 days before, man. And for this to happen to him, it's just, the adversity was crazy. And a lot of people were very sentimental already about their family because their father had passed away a couple years back during a triathlon, actually. He passed away, had a heart attack. And, like that family's already been through so much adversity. And Sam really is like a leader here on campus. Like so many people respect him, like to the level of Colt McCoy and Vince Young, which are like some of the more famous Longhorns. Mm-hmm. And yeah, man, I think the Longhorn community was hurt. I mean, I saw people from A&M and Oklahoma, kind of the rivals of Texas, sending their condolences, and it just reminded me, there's bigger things in sports, and rivalries aside, everything like that. Like a young man lost his life, and we're sad to hear it collectively as a society. And yeah, brother, I really appreciate you bringing that up. Being over here in Austin, that means a lot. And I'm sorry about the loss of Jake Ellinger to his family, and I send my condolences to all of them.
Absolutely. So we'll end one more kind of on a lighter note. Bruce has one more comment. Says, hurts my soul that Franz Wagner is gone. Wanted him back so he could bring a championship to Michigan, but he's going to be a beast in the NBA. I agree that he's going to be a beast in the NBA, but I think that you guys will be okay in Michigan because I think Juwan Howard's going to be a good coach. I don't think he's going to be a bust like everyone thinks he is. I think he's going to be a good coach. So y'all got some good y'all got a good coach over there, and he's going to be a great recruiter too. So that's the thing about college basketball, recruiting, college sports. It's all about recruiting.
Bro, and Michigan, hey, man, people can say what they want about Michigan, but they're in the mix every single year, man. Like, like they're always in that Elite Eight conversation no matter what. So you got to have like a ticket to the party to to be there, and they're always there. They always give themselves a chance to win. I'm pulling for Michigan basketball for sure. Football is another story, but basketball, I'm definitely rooting for Juwan Howard.
I was gonna say Juwan Howard. He's way better than Jim Harbaugh. But
Yeah,
that's a different topic for a different day. All right, guys. You can find me on Twitter, AlecMiller0423. You can catch me there talking all things sports or movies or whatever. Catch me tomorrow. Wednesday night on the Arm Bars and Suplexes podcast. We're gonna be talking about UFC 262 and looking forward to the upcoming UFC event, which is Rob Font versus Cody Garbrandt. Going to be a banger. So check out for that. And also, I haven't plugged it here at all. So I'll say, go to my TikTok. I have a TikTok. I talk about anime. It's called Alex Anime Reviews. I get some pretty decent feedback. I go episode by episode, so I'm able to enjoy and react based off the episode instead of doing long seasons and then reacting. So it's fun. It's a lot of fun that I do there. So check that out.
Dope.
All right, man. Go ahead and know where you can catch you.
Yeah, man. Catch me, PL Trinidad on Instagram. That's the best way to get at me. I also spend some time on Twitter under Black McLaren. And yeah, man, I'm just more of this. Like I plugged myself quite a bit when you stepped away, so I won't take too much time. But yeah, brother, like same thing. Longhorn fan, always keeping up with the Longhorn community, both in sports and just on campus life as well. Like I visit often and always trying to further educate myself on what's going on. So yeah, man, all things Austin, all things business. Those are kind of my interests outside of course, the Rockets, which is one of my main interests. Yeah, yeah, man, hit me up. Like, I'm a normal person too. We're on a podcast, but I'm always down to talk to anybody about anything. So yeah, appreciate y'all listening. And what was the guy who kept commenting? What was his name again? Bruce Boyd. Hey, I appreciate all your comments, Bruce. That meant a lot. It made the show a lot more fun for us too. So tune in when you can, man. We appreciate you dropping some knowledge as well. Thanks, man.
Absolutely. All right, man. We'll catch you guys next week, Monday night, as always, for the regular podcast. I know it's a Houston show, but the playoffs are a little special, so because we can take a step back and enjoy the NBA playoffs. So we'll see you guys next week for the first couple series of the NBA playoffs, and we'll see you guys next week. Peace out.
All right, peace.